And you can organise the day. We're live. Good morning, everybody. Happy, beautiful, outstanding day. I'm Monday Jane, and we are live pretty much everywhere in the entire universe, apart from actually with people in the same room. Isn't that interesting? It's Monday, the 9th of December, and it's 6 a.m., and we are in Motivational Monday. And today, we're giving back. And we're giving back because, well, it's the right thing to do. And for those that aren't here yet, please do share this space out. We are live on Clubhouse. So for those of you on Clubhouse, if you just ping those friends of yours in, then we will let people know that we are here. And for those live everywhere else, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitch, on Twitter, on X, and YouTube, well, have just the greatest day. And if you're catching this now, happy, beautiful, outstanding Monday. And if you're catching this later, happy, outstanding later on in Monday. Do you know, it is already 3 weeks before Christmas. It's the 9th, isn't it? So we have less. It's less, isn't it? Let's have a look. 10, 15 days. 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks before Christmas. Can you believe it? I think we're on 45 Christmas jumpers. And if you don't know what that is, I am doing a 55-day Christmas jumper challenge, and I want to say thank you to James for sending me, well, not just one Christmas jumper, but 3 actually, for my friends and I, my colleagues and I. But I do have one from Blackpool Tower, Blackpool Beach, Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and that's one of the jumpers that you will see on www.inclusion.gg. And we are thin on the ground today, I would imagine. People are busy out and about at Christmas parties, and therefore maybe they're having an extra hour in bed, and that's perfectly fine. That's great. I'm glad for that. But I unfortunately have lots of things that I need to do early on a Monday. I plan my Monday on Sunday. I don't know about you, but that's when I plan my Monday, and I do the same about Tuesday on Monday and all the way through the week. It means that I'm always hitting the ground running on that day, and I know what the day is going to unfold like. So I'm just going to have a little look, because I know that earlier I wrote some notes regarding this morning, because I like to think about what I'm doing, and then I like to write about it, and then I like to meditate about it. I don't know what you do, but I meditate. And why do I meditate? Well, I'll tell you. Because I believe that this is a time for going within. Now, it's always a time for me to go within. They say so within, so without. Therefore, you are what you think about, you are what you imagineer. And there's nothing as sure as eggs is eggs, as my mum used to say. Now, my mum's no longer with us, but I often think that when people move over to the next bit, and I believe that we've been in existence from when time began. So I believe when we had the Big Bang, now people think about the Big Bang as, you know, a load of stuff going outward, but actually the Big Bang was more of an implosion that went outward, because that's what happens when you implode. When you go in deep, then the energy has to dissipate. So today is Monday, the 9th of December. And as this season of Advent unfolds, I think this Monday reminds us of that transformative power that we have just been talking about. What transformative power do I mean? Well, of giving back. We're in Motivational Monday, and it's Giving Back Monday today. And who are you giving back to? And I'd say that the first person that I need to give back to is me. And I think actually that my day has already indicated that giving back to me is a really powerful gift, and it is within my gift. We use those kinds of words in social work. We say, is it within our gift? And I am a SENDCO, that's a specific educational needs and disability coordinator by trade. I was once a nursery nurse, and a teacher. I then retrained in psychotherapy and counselling, and now I'm just really finishing off my training in social work. And in social work, their phrase, is it within my gift, is very important. It means Is this my responsibility? Is it my department? Is it my job to do? Is it something that's within my power? Is it something that we should be doing? Is it my role? Now, is it my role to give? Definitely. And I would say that I am a giving person. I'd say that for the last 53 years, I've probably been giving wholeheartedly. I can remember being under the age of 7, actually, because I was still in primary school, still in baby school, infant primary school, and I realised the power of carol singing. And I would go down Vernon Road, which is where I lived, in Herringthorpe in Rotherham, South Yorkshire, for any of you that might know that. And we were on a round. Used to go around Vernon Road, round to Broom Lane, and then back around. And I used to go round those houses, and there must have been about 300, I would say, on both sides of the road, and one circle went on the inside and one circle went on the outside of that road. So I used to go around the block, literally, without crossing the road, and then I would be very careful to cross the road and then go round that one and then come back again. And I would collect money for our local children's home, which I visited with the toys that I gave them every year. Now, my grandma used to send things like jigsaws and stuff like that. She was very good at finding educational toys and things that would make us think. And we had a toy cupboard. And every November, actually, usually by now, probably it would be this weekend that I'd just done it, I would be charged with going through my toy cupboard and taking out anything that I hadn't played with for a while. And we would take all of those things to the children's home. Now, it might be the week after, the weekend after that we took them, because it would be this week that I would be thinking really seriously about it being time to go carol singing outside people's houses and then knocking on the door. And often, if they hadn't heard that singing, they wouldn't know why I was knocking. So if they hadn't heard it, when they opened the door, I would just burst into song and let them stand there whilst I sang to them, which was always a little bit uncomfortable, particularly at the beginning. And I used to be out there a bit like the first bird catching the what do they say? The bird catching the early worm. I used to be out there from about now, singing my little heart out, and then asking for, well, not asking, I just used to stand there, and then they would give me some money. Or they would offer me something else, like a piece of fruit. And I'll be honest with you, it was fantastic when I got fruit, because, it's not something that we were really very good at in those days. So, yeah, I think the power of giving was gifted to me before I became a junior school child, so before the age of 7. And then I would take that money and get it together, and with my toys, take it to the children's home. My mum always used to tell me about the children's home and the fact that children went there when their families broke down and their mums and dads could no longer look after them. So from a very early age, I knew what happened to children whose parents weren't able to look after them. And maybe, just maybe, that's why I'm training as a social worker today. I have to say I haven't been into a children's home in my training, but then many of them aren't accessible, which is always a surprise to me, because I'm sure that some children are born disabled, and I'm not sure that there's a disabled children's home. But there we are. So here we are in Advent, and I think that in this Giving Back Monday, in this Motivational Monday, the promise of solstice, which is the period that we're in, is a journey of returning to self. And when I look back to who I was before I was 5, they say, don't they, that give me the man or woman at 5 and I'll give you the man or woman. And it was clear at 5 that I was already planning on giving back, maybe not always to myself. That theme has carried on. It's a moment to honour the season's gifts, the spirit of renewal, and the work of individuals and collectives, particularly those striving for equality, equity, and inclusion. Children's homes and social workers and gifting children great toys from my grandma at this time of year, I think is a gift of equity and inclusion, and one that I think was pertinent in a time of Advent. The gift of this season is Advent, and I think people often misunderstand it as a countdown to Christmas. And of course, I am counting down to Christmas at inclusion.gg with our 55 days of Advent. So I am literally doing a countdown, but it also is a season of hope, of preparation, and of introspection. It's about carving out moments of gratitude. And I've been grateful to myself this weekend because my Christmas decks are up, and I've got lots of my presents ready. I'm going to start the wrapping. I'm already opening my Advent calendar. I've been pretty relentlessly religious about that. And the candle from my Advent calendar, which I get every day, is already lit in my living room. Lighting up the way towards Christmas. Looking at a candle every day allows me to purposefully, quietly reflect. I think when we think about a flame, which very often at Christmas time is an important thing, then that gift to us is the flame that we can light inside us, that we can look at the power of that colour, of that energy, and in the darkest day, which is just around the corner, the promise of light endures. And of course, Christmas is about Jesus's birthday, and we called him the light of the world. So candles and energy and going inward to look at that spark of our own is an important part of being thank you very much, being being who and what and how we are. I'm very fortunate that I have somebody here who brings me my breakfast, as you've just seen. So I hope that Charles was happy to be live on social media, because he was pretty much everywhere. He's going to be famous, and he has no idea how. So if you do want to send Charles a message, do reach out to me. And if anyone wants to know how to get a Charles, then do reach out to me, because disabled people should have support, and I have support. I have support through work, I have support at home, and it means that I can be here with you, doing positive things in my life and not just struggling to get out of bed. So I think that this season allows us to offer time, as you've just seen, and energy and compassion and love. And they are the currencies that really do truly enrich our lives. More than the pennies that I collected at the doors of the people I sang for, but I certainly gave as a giver. And for the giver and the receiver, the process of Christmas is an enduring one, and one actually which is very important for our heart, very important for our soul, and very important for our middle. And whether that's in time or in attention or in making breakfast, we are returning to our own light. The solstice symbolizes the returning of the sun, a turning point when darkness begins to wane and daylight grows stronger. So Giving Back Monday then is a personal solstice, a moment to turn inwards to our own light and to share that light with others. And I didn't feel like sharing my light this morning when I woke up. Well, I did, but after I woke up, things started to come in thick and fast. And I have to say, for the first hour, I wasn't particularly bright and breezy. I was more frustrated and a little bit discombobulated. But when we share the light within ourselves, as we are doing right here, right now, this morning in Clubhouse and on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on X, forget what they called that, Twitter, there we go, and on YouTube, I think that it's lending a hand to somebody in need. So if you are catching this broadcast, then please understand that you deserve words of encouragement, and for yourself and for others, and that whoever you are supporting today, whether they are causes that matter, and we may even be able to put a link at the top of this room. We have a cause that matters. It's an entrepreneurs club or an ultrapreneurs club. And if you don't know what an entrepreneur is, then you need to look it up in the new dictionary, because it's going to be in the Oxford English. It means a disabled entrepreneur. And we are collecting money, just like I did when I went carol singing. And maybe next Christmas, that's what I will charge everybody to do, to go carol singing for inclusion. And we're collecting what you call the lower earnings limit, or the minimum income guarantee, because if a disabled person starts in business and doesn't make the minimum income guarantee of just shy of £7,000, then access to work stops. And access to work are the means by which an individual can go and be workful. That doesn't sound very Christmassy, does it? That the DWP, the Department for Work and Pensions, even if somebody is working hard to make the minimum income guarantee or the lower earnings limit, and going out and attempting to sell whatever it is that they're providing, or do whatever it is they're providing, maybe they're singing on doorsteps. It's not really the way to be in business these days, but you never know. We sing for our supper. Disabled people often do. That they would have their access to work stopped, if indeed they can get it to start, because it can take now at the moment 40 weeks for access to work to answer the application for access to work. We got that in inclusion down to 12 weeks, but unfortunately there's been a 33% increase in the individuals that apply to access to work in the last 2 years. And therefore, we are at the moment on a 40-week wait. You'd think they'd take some more staff on, wouldn't you? You know, like little elves at Christmas. You'd think they might employ some more staff, but we know that the government has no money. Now, I'm not sure what they're doing with it, but I'm sure I'm going to find out soon. I was at the Welsh Assembly last week. They call it the Senedd. And I was there last week, and we're certainly talking about what access to work are doing with their money, and how easily it is to get hold of them, which is not at all. But that encouragement that people need, that entrepreneurs club, that opportunity to make the minimum income guarantee, is what we want to gift to somebody this Christmas. We want to gift them their minimum income guarantee, and my company, Accessibility Partners, wants to gift them the opportunity to have their coaching for 6 months before access to work comes. Now, you'd think that would be a big thing, but actually we gift that to everybody. Everybody that comes through the door has the opportunity to work with us, and we put our mouth where the money is, as opposed to the money where our mouth is, because we don't get paid. Not for the first 6 months, now for the first 10 months. It's probably going to be nearly 2 years before we get paid for the people that we're helping. And I think perhaps the government departments are made that way, because I don't know any other company that will do that. I'm told that we're similar to other companies, but actually I'm yet to find a company that will provide coping strategy support when people really need it, from the date of application and through the process of getting ready for that access to work assessment. So if you want to know about that, then bob yourself over to www.a, that's an A, number 2, W, access to work.me, access to work me, or accessibilitypartners.co.uk. And don't forget to run over to inclusion.gg, where you can go and have a look at the Advent 55-day Christmas jumper challenge. And do you remember at the beginning I said I thought we were up to about 45 Christmas jumpers? Well, I need 55, so I'm 10 short. Now, I've thought about bobbing to Tesco, putting one on and taking a photo, but I need the jumpers for next Christmas, because they are going to be auctioned off between now and next Christmas. They are going to be sold on behalf of Inclusion to bring in funds for inclusion, using the Christmas recycling that we're going to be doing. So Giving Back Monday might be that you donate as a Christmas jumper, even one that you've worn before, even one that you've collected from a second-hand shop. In fact, we don't mind if you even knit it. I'm not sure you can knit it between now and next week, but maybe you could start knitting a Christmas jumper for next year, because we're going to be doing this every year for inclusion, as we raise money for the disabled entrepreneur until things are equitable, until disabled people can apply and get the help they need at the point that they start their business. Because can you imagine trying to make that first £7,000 in the first year when Access to Work don't get there for the first 40 weeks? It means you've got 12 weeks really to get through the application process and maybe even get awarded. You're not going to be able to get anything in that time, but in that you might get through to the end of it. Now, previously, you'd have to have made £7,000 before the help came. Not sure how Access to Work thought that was going to happen. So we've been moaning about that for 4 years and saying it was not equitable, which it wasn't. And now they've moved that to taking 3 years, needing 3 years, only 3 years. You've got 3 years to make that minimum income guarantee. So at least in the second year, you might actually have some help from Access to Work. Accessibility partners are there from day one, the day one of your application. So do go across and put your details into our contact form, and somebody, one of my really strong, wonderful team, will be in touch with you and will help you do that application. If you popped an application in now, Access to Work would be here by next October. So we would be in time for Christmas. It would be next year's Christmas present to you. You could give back today to yourself by popping yourself an Access to Work claim in, and then next Christmas you would be able to start working towards that minimum income guarantee. We might be looking at you making that lower earnings limit by Christmas 2026. Now there's a plan for you. And I think planning to do these things is necessary, because people come to us and say, oh, I'm starting business next week. Well, that's okay, because we're here, but Access to Work won't be here for 40 weeks. So don't think that you're going to be able to get out and get some help in the first instance, because our government just isn't working in real time. So whether you are lending a hand to somebody by giving them coping strategy support for the first year of their business, or helping them apply for Access to Work, or maybe you're donating a Christmas jumper to Inclusion so that we can recycle Christmas and everybody can have an opportunity to share in the Christmas joy, or whether you are supporting causes that matter, like that link that we've got there. In fact, I could just pop that link up on this page, couldn't I? There we go. It's now scrolling across the bottom of the page. And in fact, oh no, there we go. There we are. I can pop that there. Let's see if I can also do that. There we go. So you can pop to inclusion.gg. That link is there on the page, or you can go to the GoFundMe page and have a look there. And the 55-day Christmas jumper challenge is available there. It's great to see everybody online, whichever platform you are watching us from. So I think that the acts that we do today and every day bring warmth and hope into our world. That's what I think. And I think that when we give back to ourselves, whether that's that you are thinking about your own needs today, I've booked myself a head and back massage gift from my sis on the 19th of December. I booked something good for me, and I went to my coaching group on Friday and said, please hold me accountable for being good to myself and giving back to me, because as I alluded to at the beginning, I'm very good at giving to others and I'm not so good at giving to myself. I think many of us are like this. But when we reconnect with ourselves, this act of reciprocity, that's it, of giving back to us, I can't say reciprocity, it's a hard one, reminds us of how we are interconnected, reminds us of our shared humanity. Just bear with me because I can't hear, because people are talking in the background. So I'm going to go and close this door. Sorry to everybody on social media for the fact that I can't hear. I'm going to go and do that now. Maybe I should have done that previously. There we go. I can concentrate now. Maybe it reminds us of our shared humanity, of our interconnectedness, of the fact that small acts create waves of change. I think that when I used to go out and sing at the neighbour's house, and one of them used to give me a halfpenny. Now halfpennies don't exist anymore, but half a pence I think it was something like 2 shillings, but I'm sure there'll people on this stage that can tell me in a little while. I don't know what a halfpenny is. Somebody's going to have to tell me. I mean, I know what else a halfpenny is referred to as, but yeah, she used to give me a halfpenny every year. But I still went across and sang to her because I felt that whatever she gave, the gift was in her listening to my singing, and my singing being available on the street. You know, after I went carol singing on Vernon Road, many people would come out the next day and start putting their decorations up. I think I got people into the mood for Christmas. I think when we give back, we align to our values. And my values way back when were to give to children who had less than me. And I think that cultivated for me a sense of belonging to the world, of the fact that the children without parents who could look after them were my responsibility as well as everybody else's, that we were responsible for each other and for how the world worked together. And that transcends the idea of individualism. Now, I was born in 1971, and unfortunately, Margaret Thatcher soon came to reign from the Tory party, and she reminded me all the time of I, me, myself, and I, and don't forget about me. She encouraged us to climb the greasy pole of business and to take a very individual approach to society. So I was probably flying in the face of the political narrative from the day dot, and in fact, I still am now. I do want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Inclusion, which I started after COVID as the reconstituted charity that I began 14 years ago. And that charity was called Yell SOS. Now, Inclusion is Yell SOS. And I've just joined a 20 strong country movement that's called Share Our Stories. And I think yelling about sharing our stories is really important. And I also think inclusion has us in the middle of it, if you think about the word. And it is about sharing our stories with us. So I want to say thank you to the Inclusion Collective, because if I didn't, they wouldn't be here now, and I wouldn't have some amazing moderators on this stage. I think both myself, so myself in my not-profit, where I'm wearing my not-profit hat, and myself in my for-profit hat, actually are one and the same thing. Accessibility Partners provides their service before there's ever any chance of any money. And in fact, some people do walk away from our services up to now. And we've had to put fail-safes in for that, because we just can't afford to keep helping people without them being able to stay. And in fact, our services are 100% funded as long as we go through the Access to Work programme. But you can imagine that if people are waiting 40 weeks, even if they're getting help all the way through, they often get disheartened and give up. And I appreciate that. Our fight for social work equality is a beacon of hope, in my opinion. It's that light in the world. It's that possibility of a growing phenomena of disabled people doing it for themselves, by themselves, and on behalf of everybody else. I'm noticing our connections around the world. I'm noticing projects in Europe, in the Far East, and in Africa. And we are involved with a very important one in Africa that's just joined the SOS programme. Share our stories. It's what I do 3 times a week. We do it here in Motivational Monday in MJ's house at 6 a.m. Whether or not it's December or it's August, we're up at this time of day. And so we can share with you at 6. And then 7 p.m. tonight in Inclusion, we share with the Inclusion Collective and share that beacon of hope that we are providing for those people who can't yet become economically viable, those people who need community and love and passion and compassion. We're there for each other, and we're there for ourselves. We embody the spirit of Giving Back Monday, and so I feel very grateful to say thank you to the people around me who do advocate for systemic change. And I think you don't know that it needs to happen until you are somebody for whom it needs to happen. And when people work out that Things like access to work take 40 weeks and disabled students allowance takes 6 to 8 months now, and that actually if you become unwell in the UK, even if you're found to have cancer, the response time is very, very challenging. And some people are waiting 2, 3, 4 years for operations, particularly replacement joints and things like that. That actually we need to empower our marginalised communities to be the change that they must see. And we must foster environments where inclusion is not a buzzword, it's not a tick box, but it's actually a lived reality. We're opening a space in Mermaid Key, the inclusion space, and as we move into international spaces, we carry with us that torch of equity, that shining light that ripples the change and reminds us that inclusion is a universal language. From Wales to the world, our work proves that when we stand for justice, actually, we stand for everybody. So on this Giving Back Monday, and I am coming to the end now as we are at 1:30, and I usually like to keep my musings to about 25 to 30 minutes. Let's just take a moment to reflect and act. What can you give back today? Maybe it's a donation to our cause or one you believe in. Maybe it's a conversation with somebody who feels unseen. Maybe it's a renewed commitment to your own well-being. I know that I like to fly in the face of most things, so whilst everybody else is indulging in chocolate and goodies and all of that, I like to really hone in on my health at this time of year because it prevents me from running away with myself and maybe overindulging. I wouldn't like myself in January for doing that, so I'm not going to. What about you? The power of giving back lies not just in the scale of the gesture, but the sincerity by which you do it. And I have to be sincere to myself and honest with myself about what I want for next year. And I don't want to eat a lot of sugar now because it won't impact on me positively for the way that I study or move through the world or exercise or manage my mental well-being. So this season is more than the festivities. It's about embodying that spirit of Advent, of the turn of the year, of the welcoming of the light, of the lessons of the solstice, and of finding a way to bring light to others. So I think we should honour those people who lead by example. And so today I am honouring myself. I'm honouring the Inclusion Collective, and I'm honouring you, because by listening to this and being here and sharing together, you are making inclusion every day an opportunity to give. And I'd love to hear what you guys think today. It's great to see everybody. It's lovely to see Francesca. It's great to see Camilla. I hope you're having just the best time where you are. And it's wonderful to see you, Louise, today. It really is. Always gets a bit quiet at this time of year. But we carry on relentlessly because, to be honest, I still need to choose to look at the way that I'm behaving and decide whether I'm giving or whether I'm taking today. And it always makes me feel better to know that I am who I am and I'm doing what I do. And I'm doing that relentlessly, no matter what other people think or say or do. So for those that reach out to me in the week, I am grateful that you are able and feel able to do that. And if you do want to donate, please do. If you can't, please share that out on your social medias. It would be great to see that popping up today. But, you know, you got to do what you want. People don't do what you want them to. They do what they want them to do. Well, they do what they want to do. And so you must. You absolutely must. And I'm glad you're in bed, Camilla, because you should be. You're in Las Vegas. So there we go. Let's have a look at if we're there. I'm going to have a drink. I've got my coffee as well, actually, James. So good morning, James. How are you? He's
I was talking to myself, Fred.
You do right. It's a really logical conversation. Good morning, my darling.
Good morning. I love what you're on about because I think I found some more Christmas jumpers and they're of a size that I don't ever want to see again. So I thought, you know what?
Yes.
You know what? I know next year that they will definitely not fit me. Because one of them don't fit me now and it looks like a sailing boat.
Woo!
So I thought, well, we'll get shut to that and you might look rather funny in that one when it sails at wind.
I
Because
can't wait.
I've done a little bit of recycling recently. I mean, I'm just moving my furniture around the bedroom and I'm stood on a mat. And I think, you know what, them brown ones I had didn't really suit me. So I gifted a wonderful person a couple of, because I felt a bit dog rough where I used to work. And these brown mats that I had from, that I'd found, because I can't have any pets in my flat because it's just not suitable, so it wouldn't be right. So I thought, you know what, I'll have the affirmations of these animals everywhere. I've got a couple of cushions with other types of fluffy animals on and stuff, and it just brings a smile because I think, well, the pets are here, but the different kind of comforts for me because I don't have to feed them, and I won't be feeding you this box of chocolates that I'm bringing. It might not arrive in time for Christmas because I don't know if it's going to be coffee and chocolates at Christmas, but I think there's a person you're on about, some relative of yours, that probably needs a box of chocolates after all what you said. If she's massaging your head and giving you one of those scented and all of that kind of woo-woo stuff, I generally go for one of them where all the bones go crack and crack. But since January, my doctor's advised me that I should not be doing that one. So he's advised me on Tai Chi and a few other bits which I've been working on. But it was Alexia that inspired me on that front because she'd been going on and on and on about, other than recycling, on and on and on about these Tai Chi lessons she has and that she'd for years done. And now that's rewarding her in this stage of her life because when I had a wonderful weekend there, I realised that as we get older, you've got to plan for it all the time. You've got to plan for everything that moves forward. And thankfully, those brown mats have gone now, so they can get as stained as they like there because they were pretty mindfully stained up here with what I think about when I work through traumas from that I see in the mirror behind me, and I just smile. And I think, yeah, I've moved on from that kind of brown sauce, BS, and lacking of leadership, and just uninspiring people that just don't, on the management front, that just don't move you forward. And I know I've found a team of people here where I live that are really going to help me put the pedal to the metal to move forward and then move into where I really want to be in life. So yeah, I've got a box of chocolates and some old T-shirts, but I think really I'll leave the box of chocolates here because it's the only box I've got. I'll leave them on a shelf with a big light shining on it, not bright enough to burn them, and I'll not let them melt because I won't want them to burn. That won't be handy at all. I'll save them till I can head up there for a coffee because I do love Cardiff any time of the year. I think it's beautiful. I hear they have got Christmas markets there at the moment, so I'm sure once this bad weather settles that a lot more people will be travelling about and a lot of businesses will be able to get some business going perhaps before Christmas if there's enough time. And if that does happen, I'm sure Transport for Wales, because they've got a really good fleet of trains in Wales, I'll be able to pop on, maybe even loan a folding bike from a little shop I know. Then it's a little bit easier on the trains and in the hotel room and have a play with that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the journey ahead. And I see Julian's just arrived because I'm having a bit of trouble with my Clubhouse at the moment on this phone. I think on Saturday, by mistake, I shut the room down, MJ. So I'm really sorry about that. I've been really struggling with the settings on this old Clubhouse phone. So yeah, I just really enjoyed though sharing this morning with you, because I think it's nice, really, the journey that I've been on so far. But I've got a bit of tidying up here. Got to get my Christmas decks up, but I need them up for Thursday. I'm only having them up for 24 days this year. I'm just going old school, and as I say, I've got a box of jumpers that I've just noticed. I'll get them down the post office pretty soon, because I don't know when the deadline is. But
as soon as possible now.
Hopefully they will. Hopefully, yeah, I think it's a few more days yet. And I was really shocked at how reasonable the price was for that massive bag of the jumpers. I was like, you what? How much? Right, I'll have some more of that. I thought I'm gonna. And my postman is wonderful. He's a lovely guy. I just hope that the volunteer that knows how to fix post office bikes, I hope he appears soon, because I've got some lessons I need to learn. Them bikes, them old Pashleys are quite temperamental things, but I'm looking forward to that restoration for next year, because it's going red. It's going from red, my old post office bike I got, to black, maybe with a little bit of gold, because that basket at the front, I'll be able to put a shed load of coffee boxes in the front of that. And I'm really looking forward to my cycling journey this year. The local deliveries in the Wigan area. It's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be an incredible year. I'm so inspired with your coffee shop and your not coffee shop, how you're going to literally inspire people to see the light so they can move forward, MJ. But yeah, that's me done on this meandering show this morning. But anyway, have a beautiful week, everybody. I'll look forward to all the other shows, and just a big thank you to Alexia at the weekend. I had a wonderful time. Thank you.
No, you are always welcome, James. I'm just going to share for a minute in reflection of how you've shown up this morning, because I'm always grateful to you, and I'm also always also mindful that if we live on our own, it can be that we don't hear our own voice for a number of days. My mum used to say, do you know, I haven't heard my own voice except speaking to myself for the last 5 or 6 days. And I think, well, yeah, that's because you've not phoned anyone, Mum. And I think that it sometimes, for me, if I've had a couple of days where, that's happened, if I've been ill or whatever, that when I do hear my own voice, I just need to get it all out. And I sometimes feel like you've got an awful lot on your mind, but your mind is very busy, James. And when you were talking about your previous job, I know, for those that are listening in and those that are on social media, that you were in a factory that was particularly negative, that my understanding of it was that it was relatively toxic and that it affected your mental health quite tremendously. Now, I'm allowed to say that. I'm not mentioning which factory it was or where it was, but actually I think we need to recognise in the UK and around the world that there are people who are working in industries and in situations that are really very toxic, quite mentally disturbing, and can leave a massive impact negatively on somebody's well-being. Now, I'm not casting aspersions, but I am saying that I have seen the effect of your workfulness on your mental well-being, and I know that now you are moving forward from that. You've left that location. I was with you with the HR services there, and you were able to move away from that job, and I'm very grateful that you and anyone else can move away from such a toxic environment where people were, I'm afraid, got to the point where they didn't want to live anymore. And I'm talking about people that took their lives that worked alongside you. Now, we think about that in the Army and the Navy and the Air Force and doctors and dentists, but we don't actually think about our factory workers and those people that are on minimum wage. But I know a number of people for whom that has been a reality. And I know for you, James, you had to work alongside people for whom that became a reality. And that is not something that impacts particularly well. So I'm glad you've moved forward from that. What you do for the community in Wigan, and you alluded to that but didn't really explain it, is that you recycle cycles. So you help fix bicycles for a local recycling project where you help pre-love cycles get to new people. And that's a phenomenal thing to do. So I would just encourage you, when you are talking, to be really clear about what you do, where you do it, who you do it for, and why you do it, which is because you like giving back. You're a great cycling enthusiast, and you helped me with our hand cycle marathon for the Disabled Entrepreneurs Club, and why we've got to the amount we have already. And you came to Cardiff, which is where I live, and you alluded to that too. And we are opening the inclusion space. And in that inclusion space, we're going to be able to buy the coffee that I sell, and there will be a donation to inclusion for that. It's a not coffee shop, as James alluded to again, but didn't actually say what he was talking about. So in Mermaid Quay in Cardiff, before Christmas, we hope, but maybe just after, we're opening the inclusion centre. And in that centre, you're going to be able to come and share a coffee with us, maybe buy some coffee in aid of inclusion, and also come and get some information, advice and guidance, some education, some opportunities. And you can even get that chocolate that James talked about. But our chocolate is 100% cacao, and it is made from only good, clean food. And that's the other thing that's going to be available at the Inclusion Centre. Good, clean food, not stuff that's stuffed with sugar and additives and all those things, because actually I can't eat them, which sounds a bit selfish, but I'm giving back to myself because I can't actually go and get a coffee in Mermaid Quay or anywhere else where I can eat and drink alongside my coffee goodies that don't do me harm but do me good. So that's what we're going to be doing, and we're going to be doing it together. And James is talking about coming to Cardiff when we have our opening, and we're going to be letting you know in these rooms on a Monday morning at 6, on a Monday night in Inclusion at 7 p.m, and on Saturdays for Belonging in Business when that's going to happen. And we've been working towards it a number of weeks, and that's going to really boost our coffers and help inclusion be the foregone conclusion that we know it is. So James, I'm pleased to have helped you explain who and what and how you are, what you do, and why you have been so important and intrinsic in inclusion's journey. I want those jumpers, so get them in the bloody post. The fact that they're massive doesn't matter, because we're going to be recycling those jumpers next year, and we're going to be selling those on behalf of inclusion. So I will be grateful to receive those. Now it's 10 to 7, and I'm going to put ourselves on to Alexia now. We have 2 more people on the stage. For Jew, we've been talking about giving back. And about giving back, because Jew might have had a little sleep, I hope, this morning. Giving back through the power of Advent, through the power of the solstice. As we approach the longest day, we think about the light of the world turning over to be into the light of spring, that we are moving from darkness into light, that during this period of solstice, we reflect inwards on ourselves and consider the energy that we are giving back, and whether we give back from the heart or whether we give back in that lip service way. And I like to think that from the day dot, from being before the age of 5, that I was giving back as I went carol singing for the local children's home. And I used to review my toys and then go and take the ones I hadn't played with to the children's home along with those donations. I think I gave back by singing for my neighbours. I think I gave back by collecting money for the children's home. And I think I gave back to myself for recycling that which I wasn't using. And that's what I'm asking you to do when you donate your Christmas jumpers. And we're looking for about 10 more. So if you are thinking about sending a Christmas jumper in, will you get on with it? Because it's a couple of weeks before Christmas now, and I'm 10 down, and I really do need your help. If you also don't feel you've got a Christmas jumper, or you can't go and buy one, or you can't go to the second-hand shop and get one and post it to us, then please donate to the Entrepreneurs Club at the top of this room and that's scrolling along this screen here. We would be very grateful if you would choose us as your Giving Back Monday today. And Alexia, I am ready to hear you. How are you this morning, my darling?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I want people to understand why we struggle at this time of year. It's a time of the light changing. You said that, but it comes back to the Earth's energy. The northern hemisphere, the Earth, is having a time of rest and regrowth. So we're connected to that Earth, so that's why we get that energy of feeling tired, and that can be enhanced by what we do, what we say, and what we eat. It really does make a difference. So don't feel bad about the fact that you might need to take a little bit more time. I've actually taken a bit of time out this weekend, and I actually feel better for doing it because my body needed time to catch up. But I want you to stop and think what this bad weather has been about, because it's not just stopped one area in the UK. It's stopped all the Christmas markets, pretty much everywhere, because they weren't sure how severe this weather was going to be and whether it was going to be safe to have stores and things as we normally do at Christmas. So what does that actually mean? It means that the planet is saying it wants some time for us to take less. And recycling, as MJ has talked about, is the way to take less. The map that James bought, a belt that says, I'm the boss. And she does think she's the boss until I remind her otherwise she's not. Because every group, in a nice way, has a leader, and the rest support, take part in, and keep it together. MJ's the person who understands about access to work and many of the other systems that all governments use. They just give them a different name. So I don't need to understand that, but my job is to help you understand what this planet does for you. And what this planet does for you is grant you life. But when you abuse something, whether it's yourself or the planet, if you're abusing the planet, you're abusing yourself twice. Because that's where everything starts from. It's where all life starts from. Sadly for us, there are always people in this world that think there is only one way of doing something. And at my age, I know there is always more than one way of doing something. When I had my cleaning business years ago, and I was talking to one of the people I worked for, and I was running a business, but I didn't think about it as running a business, and I was actually running several businesses at the same time. And I said, well, I'm not really in business. And he said, well, what are you doing? I said, well, I trade the top market, run a cleaning business. I do various other things as well. I support animals and wildlife. I support farm. Well, you're running a business. But most of those things needed money to do it or needed some kind of input. In my blog that will go out shortly because I'm a bit behind this morning, I've got a table and it's actually only got one leg showing on it. Why have I chosen to do that? Because that's a bit how I think a lot of us are feeling right now. We're trying to balance more than we can actually cope with. So maybe a nice way of thinking about not taking so much on is, what can you take off of your Christmas table that you don't really need? Because when you're looking at social media, they're not interested in whether you can afford it or not. They just want you to buy it. And one of the ways we can really save, particularly with food, is to buy just what we need. Or sometimes we do need a bit extra. With modern technology, we've got fridges, we've got freezers. Don't triple what you buy, just buy one thing more in that. Because people are buying way, way more than they actually need, can wear, can use. I'm just as guilty. I'm going through my things. One of the things I did last year, and I will do again this year, is, and it doesn't matter whether it's just pieces of paper, but recycle 7 things a day for a month. That might mean I go through 7 pieces of business paperwork and sort them out and get rid of what's not needed. It might mean I sort out 7 pieces of clothes that I don't wear or don't really need anymore, so they can be recycled. It could mean that I go through my kitchen cupboards and look at what food I've got in there, and that is a thing you could do now. Just go through your cupboard and actually have a look what's in there. Because I will be prepared to bet that most of you could actually feed yourself over Christmas and the New Year without buying 50% of what you're going out to buy now. So maybe you could think about that for the New Year. There's 7 days for a month. Just go through and take 7 things. Go through them. It's a great way of sorting your house out. Recycle, put in the compost, whatever it is. But that's another point. If you're going to throw food away at Christmas time, maybe you didn't need that food in the first place. Because there is enough for all on this planet, but there are quite a few that are being, I don't want to say it, but over greedy, shall we say. So a little bit less can do a bit more. So I'm going to finish there with just saying love and kindness is the best thing you can do for you, and it's the best thing you can do for somebody else. Even if it's only, it doesn't matter whether you like what they're wearing. If you see them looking a bit fed up, and I've done this many times and watched their face light up, I love what you're wearing. And their face will completely light up, and you just watch them, just stand still and watch them. If they walk past you going down the road, their movement changes. So it doesn't always need to be the big things we do. So I'm sending you a lot of love, and I better finish writing this blog because I'm a bit behind this morning. And my support worker's coming this morning, and I'm still in my night dress, and he usually gets here early. So I think I better get a move on.
Oh, Alexia, I do love you. I love the fact that here we are on Giving Back Monday, and you're going to give your support worker a show if you don't go and get dressed. And I love that. I do love your sentiment. You know, less is more. And I have had my great friend and indeed colleague, my delight, who's in the audience this week, to come and help me sort out my wardrobe. So I have recycled, I don't know, probably about 40 kilos of clothes, as I've now got space in my wardrobe, and all the clothes that were too big for me, a bit like James has talked about with his large Christmas jumpers, have left my wardrobe because it will encourage me not to regain that weight that I have lost, and will encourage me to know that actually the way is forward and not back. And I love the fact that you are talking about supporting each other with a kind voice today, Alexia. It costs nothing to celebrate what people do, even if you are not feeling 100% like yourself. You know, there's nothing greater to cheer you up than to give. And that's what we're talking about: giving of our time, giving of our energy, giving of our love, giving of our attention, giving of our recognition for each other, even if we're not feeling like it. In fact, especially when we're not feeling like it, because to learn to dance in the rain is much better than waiting for the storm to pass. And in Wales this weekend, we've had such a storm that has created sinkholes, and it's ripped schools apart, and it's taken nurseries out, and people have had fatal accidents on the road. So those storms of life can create, I'm afraid, some individual catastrophes, and there's always an outcome of there being a stormy period. But during those storms, it's when we need each other. You know, my coach is the other side of the world right now, and last night we were talking. He's in New Zealand, and that's Pete Cohen, and he is going through storms there. He'd just gone on a ferry for ages. He'd driven in a car in crazy conditions for a couple of hours, and when we got to talk, he was not in a great place. But we shared how I sent pictures, and we spoke about how over there and over here there were storms raging, but that we were still connected to each other. And he'd been talking about me, and I'd been talking about him, and it was a bit of a mutual admiration society. And even when he's 14,000 miles away, we are connected because we do belong together, and we are interconnected. And if you think we're not, you're wrong. I have
We
been.
really are.
We really are. We really, really are.
If you want to understand what is happening on this planet, go and research in Australia and New Zealand what is happening there, because that's where 50%. There's 3 places that our food sources come from outside England. One is Australia, one is New Zealand, and the other is Spain. All 3 of those countries have had major problems with storms, with flooding. And let's put this down to earth. Every government is going to look after their people first. So we've got to start to look after us and where we live. And one thing we could do on that score is stop building on green belt sites, because we need that land to grow things. Go back and look in your history. We're actually repeating history in a different way. Go back and look at the Second World War, the problems that caused. Some of the problems, what we're having now, are kind of without the damage in certain ways, is what's happening now. So this is why we need to think about what we're using and how we're using it. And I'm sorry I come back, but I just felt this is important.
I think it's terribly important. I think the idea that there are storms raging over there and over here, and sometimes in our heart, as James has alluded to with the places that he works, tells us that we need to be the light in the world. Whatever you believe in, whether you believe it's Jesus's birthday, whether you are a religious human, to be the light in the world and to share the joy of connection and of reaching out to each other. I think today, I would say that apart from the finance and even, not going out and buying things, or going out and buying things, the personal choices we make are really up to you. But something that I would encourage every one of you to do is to look around you, see who needs a kind word, a good glance, an opportunity to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, and to be recognised for what you do. And it's why I've recognised myself this morning, because I think that we forget to recognise ourselves and each other, and forget to celebrate who and what and how we are. And I've been giving since before the age of 5, and I'm still giving now, because as I said before Julian arrived, and I'm coming to you next, show me the man or woman at 5 and I'll show you the man. Show me the child at 5 and you'll show me the man and or woman. And I believe that my heart was in place before I became even a school child. And at 7, I was giving to the children's home. I was giving away the toys that I was no longer using, and I was raising money from about now by singing for their supper in front of my neighbours. And that really did set me in good stead for being able to show up in the world whatever I needed to do. It gave me that tenacity and that capability of being where I need to be at the time I need to be it, whether or not I feel like it, and to give what I can to those that I care about. And that's really important for me today. So please, on this Giving Back Monday, please do go and give of yourself, even if it's just a text, a call, a glance, or a kind comment, as Alexia commented on. And wherever you are in the world, remember those that you love and what they're going through right now, just as I did last night when we were talking with New Zealand. And I am just sending out lots of love and the acknowledgement that that things are going belly up in a lot of places, and there's lots of people going through quite a difficult time at the moment, and that we are here for each other. If you are in any need, please reach out, because we'd love to hear from you. If we can do anything to help, then we will. Ju, good morning. You are awake. Have you had a good kip?
I have.
I'm so glad you slept.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, feeling better.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. We're giving back today.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I used to live in a place that was called the Garden of Europe. And it was a little bit of Spain that grew things, and it was miles and miles and miles of polytunnels. Looked awful. And when the wind blew, it tore them to shreds. But it was effective. And it grew things well. And it I lost my train of thought.
That's all right. I think you were talking about the fact that you lived in Spain, that Alexia spoke about, and the fact that New Zealand and Spain and those places, Australia, are struggling at the moment with producing their food. And if all of those polytunnels were ripped down in the wind, then very likely Spain is likely not to have, if they're still doing it in that area, they're likely not to have the food source that they were creating. And maybe that means there's going to be a little bit of a limit in the new year.
It could do.
It could, couldn't it? Did you enjoy living there?
I did.
Yeah? Do you miss Spain?
I do.
And can you say Merry Christmas in Spanish?
Felices Navidades.
Yeah, I kind of figured you'd be able to. You do speak a petit peu, and that's French, of course, of Spanish, don't you?
I love speaking Spanish.
Can you say good morning to me?
Buenos dias.
Thank you. And how do I ask how you are?
¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? Nice. And what about happy birthday? Because my account has a birthday today.
That is felices cumpleaños.
You say You don't just speak un petit peu of Spanish. You speak beautiful Spanish, and I love hearing you speak Spanish, and I love hearing you speak. So you might have lost your train of thought regarding the polytunnels, but Jew, we need you, and we need your Spanish. It is always a delight to have you here. It's phenomenal to get to the point, and I was just saying earlier before you came in, some people it's taken 2 years to get to the Access to Work program. And I think we might be there with you shortly. And I think it's been over 2 years, hasn't it?
It's been 3.
3 years of giving back to you, because it's important that this part of your life going forward is funded to the point that you can go and do things for yourself, don't you think?
I do.
And I think you deserve your voice.
I think you deserve a bloody medal.
I think you got some, didn't you, when you went in the war or whatever it was, in the army or the navy or the, I don't know. Well, you should have got a medal for going in and throwing yourself out of planes. You were a paratrooper.
Very true.
Maybe we both need a medal. Maybe everybody needs a medal. What do you reckon?
Maybe.
Yeah, you don't believe that, do you? You think certain people need medals. I could hear it in your voice. I can already hear it in what you didn't say. Do you know, it's always amazing to have you here, and I love you sharing this stage with me, and it will never be any other way. I'm looking forward to when we are sharing world stages together, when we're speaking about your lived experience on the lived experience panel, and when we are sharing our stories globally. Are you ready?
I am.
I'm glad you're ready. It's taken 3 years to get you there, but I'm telling you now, we are on our way. 2025 is your year, Jew. Your year.
Well, if it gets me out of here.
Of course it will. We're doing the Great Escape. What do you think all of this tunneling's been for? Don't tell everybody that we've built a tunnel to the other side of the world. Why do you think I was talking to New Zealand last night? It's taken some digging, and I'm very disappointed it's taken us so long. But we're definitely tunneling our way out of that care home for the elderly, aren't we? Because you're not even old.
Oh, no.
No, I'm only 21, and you're not much older.
I'm a relative child compared to the rest of them.
It's because they've got a toy boy they don't want to let go of you. The 86-year-olds like seeing the totty. That's what it is. You are their totty, you're their eye candy. You know that, don't you?
Well, got to be someone.
Yeah, I think you're a lot of people's eye candy. I think you're a beautiful human. But I do think those older ladies might want you tied with a bow for this Christmas. So I think you better watch yourself and just keep yourself to yourself, or you might end up being their present under the Christmas tree. We'll get out there soon, won't we, Ju?
I hope so.
The world is our lobster. I mean oyster, obviously, but it is. It's just going to open up. 2025 is when we get freedom. Freedom from oppression, freedom from exclusion, and freedom to be included exactly the way that we need to be. And I'm looking forward to it, my love.
Yeah.
We did all right, considering you lost your train of thought, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, we're better together, don't you reckon?
I do.
So do I. I'm going to move on now, if you don't mind. It's 7:15, and we've been here an hour and a quarter. For those on every other form of social media, I'm not ignoring you, but I am very concentrated on my stage, because this stage is full of incredible humans. And we've got 2 more on the stage. We have Camilla from the other side of the universe, and we've got Frank, and he's not even in England either. We've got an international stage today. And that's great, because sharing our stories across 20 more countries is exactly what we want. Hey, Camilla, I'm missing you.
Hi, MJ.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Oh, God, I miss you. Oh, I'm coming home soon. We need to
Yay!
catch up.
Yay!
Oh God, I have so much to tell you.
It'll take us a
Can't even
week.
imagine.
And can you're in Las Vegas, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas. I have been 3 days with Mr. Network Marketing himself, Eric Worre, and I just got home from his amazing mansion. Was invited to party there after these 3 days. This was mind blowing for sure, and there so much has happened when it comes to how we share and help people. It's mind blowing how well educated. I was in a room with, I think we were kind of 250 people, 6 and 7 figure earners. And what struck me this weekend was how many of these people help others, how they contribute to different kinds of products, projects to make this world better. And as you also taught me a lot about this with disability and the struggles that people face with wheelchairs and all kinds of stuff, I was so delighted to see that his entire studio is accessible uh, for people in wheelchairs. Even a big handicap toilet. I really appreciated that. Plus, this time, I think it was the first time he had a deaf participant that is building a team in network marketing business, and they had hand signed the entire 3 days. And that kind of stuff makes me so happy because it's totally inclusion. People from all over the world, and so many beautiful stories. Like people come from nothing, homelessness, all kinds of situations, and then they step up the game and do whatever it takes to change their lives. And yeah, get to earn a ton of money and then pour it into different projects to help less fortunate people, building up others. This has been a freaking game changer for me, and I learned a lot. And one of my biggest things with coming home to Europe is that I'm going home and I'm going to reinvent everything I do, both personally and in my business. I have so many things that I want to tell you when I go home and say, I really want to share what I've learned, and this is going to be a game changer for me, absolutely. But the most important thing with this trip was actually to see how everybody supported each other, totally inclusion, no bullshit. And the first 45 minutes I entered the room the first day, I learned more on those 45 minutes than I could ever imagine. People just shared, and how can I help you? Let me know if you need anything. All of that kind of stuff. That is like, I'm so happy about it, and yeah, it's going to be amazing. So I'm very, very happy about it. And I spoke with Eric Worre, and when he says that Dr. Bobrakowski is one of his favorite people, then you get a little bit extra happy. So yeah, we have a lot to talk about. Las Vegas is crazy in a way. Neon lights everywhere. It's the palm trees have Christmas decorations. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. I'm gonna send you some pictures later, MJ. But I really miss you, and I haven't been on these calls for a long time. I had a very big family crisis, and it put me out of, I don't know what to say, out of order in a way. And I actually had also very, very, very big challenge with helping that person with, social workers and all of that. So God, it's really important that social workers learn a little bit more about diagnosis and all of that. It sure has been a challenge, but I learned from you, so I took that to my heart and tried to do my best. And yeah, I'm coming out on the other side, and life is happening all the time, and I'm just so freaking grateful for everything. And I'm really happy that I could tune in now when I'm going to bed. I got the notification. I said, yes, finally, right time. So I just want to say that I appreciate this room and to be here with you and all of that. So, and yeah, many fun things happening.
I'm excited. I'll tell you what, I'm excited to see your shares. It's great to see you on the stage at GoPro, and those events are very important in that they help us know that we are part of a global community, and that actually the only reason that most people who are in a bit of a dive, in a bit of a situation, in a bit of a crisis, in a bit of a storm, reach up and get hungry for change is because necessity is the mother of all invention. And I think that you are a perfect example of that, that necessity is the mother of all invention, and that you have necessarily had to step up for those individuals that you've had to, those that have had access to social work. And interestingly, this weekend I've been reading about Poland. And it would appear that we need social work education in Poland. So there's work to be done globally with the money that we make. And it's important that we work our little socks off like little elves to get that money to be pouring it into the people that need it. I've been signing up people this weekend for my side hustle, I like to call it, but actually I think it's going to become one of the major businesses that I coordinate. In that I've started using some media apps that help with that, and it's helped coordinate my thinking. It's helped coordinate my what they call a funnel. Although these funnels that I create are only with people that come to me for what they want. I don't go chasing them. They turn up in my door or my inbox or on my customer records management system, coming and asking for that support. And there was nothing more fantastic than to share with a chap called Rick yesterday, who did a search, and he just searched for the phrase healthy coffee. Now, he'd heard that because he's part of a gym. He runs a gym in Malmesbury, I think it is. And he reached out. Hey, good morning, Faraz. It's great to see you. I'd love to hear what you did have to say on Saturday. And he reached out last night. It's great to see you, my love. Happy, beautiful, amazing Monday. And we managed to talk about how he turned his life around and was moving forward fearlessly this coming new year, and how he wanted to step up for himself. But that was because, he was in a situation where he didn't have really any other choice. And they're the people who I find inspiring, the ones that want to give back. And this Giving Back Monday is all about giving back. It's not about taking, as Alexia has explained. It's about giving back. It's not about offering just solutions to things, but about sharing together and looking for our inner light that we can share with others, so that we can join that together and create a community of practice. And a community of practice keeps on practicing, right? We don't get it right all the time. We just keep growing and learning and evolving and understanding. And that's whether it's about our family or our friends or ourselves or our entire community. We are always learning, and I love learning with you, Camilla. I can't wait to open our space where learning is going to be at the absolute core of that, and that as we approach 2025, people like you are going to be able to escape. James is going to be continued onwards and upwards with his Access to Work program, and Alexia is not that far away from her first graduation. You are changing the game when it comes to providing clean and healthy food. And well, Frank's along with that stage speaking that you and me and Julian are going to take over the global stage together. So I know that all of us are changing things in our own way, and you're a blessing to know. By the way, I need to order some more chocolate because that chap that I was talking to last night, he's a bit of a chocoholic, unfortunately. So your 100% cacao chocolate needs to be shared with my new friend Rick, and he's desperate for my link. So let's get our shop finished.
I think it's already finished.
We're getting there.
We're getting that. But one thing I just wanted to say that on Friday I have a full report from GoPro on Zoom, and what is so freaking amazing with what I learned this weekend is that anybody is welcome in network marketing profession, and people that didn't get a job or was rejected on something, they are welcome with open arms, and we support as much as we can and help people build teams. So make sure you know more about it, because it could actually change anybody's life. You can be homeless on the street and you get a chance to share a cup of coffee, and then suddenly your life changes. So I'm really excited.
Listen, I never chose to share the joy of a healthy coffee. I chose to imbibe it. And when I did, the change for me was so dramatic that whatever you think about the phrase network marketing, listen, I've been an Avon lady. I've sold all sorts of things, but because people have needed or wanted them, and also because it fitted in with my lifestyle. And as you've just explained, many people are excluded from the world, particularly those with disabilities. Now, I don't know any other business, and I'm happy for people to come up and share with me and tell me when they have the opportunities for people at this kind of buy-in. There are times in the year when I can sign people up for sharing a healthy coffee with each other for nothing. And there's other times that the most it costs is £26.50. Now, this chap last night said to me, I can't believe that I get a website and a web shop and I get your help, and you just sat here an hour and a half talking to me and helping me set up, and I'm in this situation, and explain the situation he was in, and they're the people for me that giving a leg up, giving an open heart and an open mind and a connection with, and asking them to come along and share with me in Cardiff and see the opportunities that can be, if only we can reach out to each other and connect and see that we all belong, whoever we are and wherever we came from, whether we are a 6-7 figure earner, whether we're not earning anything, whether we've ever had a job. And believe me, there have been people that I've employed that have never had a job into their 40s, and now they're getting their second job because they already got a job, because success begats success, right? So when we lift one another up, and let's face it, all those people that you met this weekend could afford to sign 10 people up today for absolutely nothing. They could afford to buy them a pack of goods and set them up in their business with no impact on their lives. Now, that's what I'm going to be encouraging in 2025, because I want people to put their mouth where their money is, as opposed to their money where their mouth is. So that's what I want. I want people to step up and show me what exactly they're going to do with this newfound wealth and how they're going to share it out, because it's a win-win-win. If they set people up with their business in a way that they would want to be set up, and they would have dreamt for other people to set them up, well, then maybe they should get back exactly what they give, which is an open heart, an open mind, and sometimes an open wallet.
I think it's brilliant with this, and I also think that when we have this kind of business, as you just said, you sit there with somebody and helping them, that moment you see and hear a person, you care, and then you teach that person to do the same for their people that they find and want to do it as well. And that is something that is not that common when it comes to corporate.
Nope.
You don't get that attention, you don't get that time, you don't get that community, that love and belonging, because I think when it comes to people today, we need aliveness and belonging. And that is what's going to change the world in the future. And, selling coffee is just a vehicle for helping more people and get belonging.
Absolutely, and belonging is what we all need. Do you know, we've got a minister of loneliness. Do you know that 28% of disabled people in Wales feel so lonely that they often think about not being here? With our Dignity in Dying movement in the UK that we're hearing again this month, it makes me very sad that in Holland, in the last 10 years, there's been 18 people that have received euthanasia because they've been lonely, not economically viable, or couldn't get the support that they need. Now, I don't believe in people being in agony. I don't believe that people shouldn't have a choice, but I do believe that we need to help us live before we need to help us die. And I'm certainly for that. And I'm going to be shouting loud and proud for the rest of my days that we need to help those people that haven't managed to move their way through the world because they haven't been as fortunate as us. We need to support each other. And when we don't, actually, it's an assault on ourselves as opposed to anything else. So I would encourage Giving Back Monday for your own soul, for your own heart, and your own becoming. And I'm very grateful to you for helping me illuminate that, Camilla. And so long may it continue. I'm looking forward to when you come home, to when you can come to Wales, and when we can really share across Mermaid Key and all of Cardiff the love and connection that we've got, because I want people to belong too. I do. Thank you. Frank,
Thank you.
Are you there?
I am.
Oh, good morning, my love. How are you?
I'm, I was good. Yesterday I felt like $1 million as most all days. And I trained hard and I thought, oh my God, I can play tennis again. And I was loose and I was doing yoga and people were saying, you're too stiff, you have to do something and blah, blah, blah. So I did it and I felt, oh my God, I felt good. And then Caroline came home and she said, what do you do? I said, this, and look at me, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? I woke up this morning. I cannot move my neck. There are those days that you should say to yourself, I shouldn't have done this. You should have done this when you were 25, not when you were 28. So that's how I feel today. So I want to do my training in the morning, 7 o'clock. I woke up and somebody wants to come up again. Somebody pushed himself out, I think. Oh, it's Jax.
He's got a new Christmas jumper on. That's what he's got on.
Oh, that's why.
He loves it when you're here. He loves it when you're here, Frank,
But it's listening to all of you is always. I never know what I'm going to talk about. And when you invite me up, of course you have to listen to MJ. What he's saying, you have to come up. But I'm also good by listening because I do a lot of talking. I do a lot of talking. But it's, for me, I'm in a conflict. I'm in a really big conflict because some agencies here in Holland and some agencies in London, they want me to sign up. And when you sign up, you cannot say to a school who's got, to a charity who's got no budget to speak. Then you have to come up for yourself, and they're going to say, well, Mr. Sunius, isn't this price? So the conflict I have with signing the contracts is that I still want to do my things. You know, my. If a school asks me and I don't have a budget, I want to go there because the message I share is the message that we're good enough, that everybody is good enough. And I don't want them to go the same path as I did, you know, hiding and seeking and thinking one day it will all be good, but because it's not going to be good one day. And then all the consequences, well, we know what the consequences are when you're not yourself and when you feel that you cannot be yourself. So I have to do it wherever I want to do it. And I want to tell that message wherever I can tell that message. And in South Africa, okay, they won't be there in a big stadium and there are 80,000 people. But then they say, we don't have a budget. And then you have to make those choices to say to something big like that, you have no budget, you know, because it's for me, it's never about the money. Everything I do is for the cause. I made so much money in my life. I lost so much money in my life. So I know it's not about the money. But the agencies who want to sign you up, they have to make money because they have people working for them. And, you know, they have to have a share of what they can get to keep the agency going. But what I notice now, I'm called a high impact keynote speaker and storyteller. And I am. And then all the ones on LinkedIn and everywhere, they say, oh, we can make you a better speaker. I can make you this. I can make you this. I said, well, that's especially what I'm speaking about. You don't have to be better. If I listen to you, to James, we're all high impact keynote speakers. We all have something to tell. And please don't fall for somebody else's highway to success who promise you, oh, if you take my program, I will bring you to this stage and this stage and this stage. It's not right. It's never going to happen because, you know, those agencies have 8,000 people in their business and only 10 or 15 are speaking all the time. And the rest, they follow the course, pay the money, and they will never get on stage. So please, you know, I say to everybody, follow your own path and find the help in your support team, you know, your mentor, your coach, your best friend, your cheerleader. And the most things I learn is from my proteges. The people who ask me for their help, I learn the most from them. Because everything I tell you now, I already know. But I need the things I don't already know. So everyone is reaching out to me is a blessing because, you know, they ask me questions. I think, oh my God, I don't have the answer there. So I have to look for it. And I'm not going to look for answers. Guess what? I'm never going to look for answers because the answers will come when I'm ready. And that's what I learned. And that's when you're 60, about 60, you've got this experience and you don't look for answers anymore because they will come. And if they don't come, you don't need them. So life is so easy, but it's not, because when you do yoga and you wake up the next morning thinking you're 25, you're only 28. So that's the problem. And that's why I'm coming up.
I'm going to be thinking about your stiff neck all day now and hoping that you get the massage that I booked for myself on the 19th, courtesy of my beautiful friend. I hope you get a neck rub that you need. But you know what, Frank? We were forever young in our heart. And whilst you might not be able to go and do 44, whatever, I don't think they call it rounds, do they, of tennis anymore. I think they call it sets. There we are. Sets of tennis anymore. And you shouldn't really go and be a yoga ninja for a week. Actually, just turning up and stretching is enough at our age, because we might not be 21, but in our heart we still are, right? And I always love hearing you. Always love hearing you. I think you should go and speak with who you like, when you like, where you like, and say what you like, on account of the fact that life is just too short. And I agree with you. It can't be all about money. Otherwise, well, it would have stayed with you. You wouldn't have found it and lost it and found it and lost it. Money is a kind of it's a flowing thing. It should be used. It shouldn't be collected. And I think that's where people make the mistake. But that's just my personal opinion, right?
No, it's a personal opinion. It's my opinion now for the rest of my life. But it was from my birth. I never thought about money. And guess what? Now I'm almost on my pension. And somebody says, how much pension are you going to get? I said, well, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It's now. It's time. We got there. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. What you're giving me, because I don't need to pay £44,000 for the idea that one day you might put me on a stage that you've created and I've paid for. No, mate, I'm all right with that. I don't need to pay for a stage that you're going to put me on, because actually I can pay for my own.
That's exactly what I want to do. You know, somebody said, Frank, you have to make a community and make your own events, and you can do whatever you want to do, Frank. And all right, and just like you said, I never know what I'm going to talk about, and that's the beauty. You don't have to need a script, or because if you give me a script today and you put it in front of me, and I start speaking, and I see James in his sweater, I'm off. I'm going somewhere else.
Of course you are. You're going to talk to James about his Christmas jumper, because I've got one on the Inclusion website, and it's like that one that he's wearing there. So yeah, because he sent it me, right? I've got one with Blackpool Pleasure Beach on, and you don't expect that on a Monday morning, do you? Absolutely.
When you don't have to live by a script, and of course I come to the end to my message, but I can go and using James or Jew or whatever, and still come to the really important message. And the message is to be the best you, and that's the only thing you have to do. If you are the best you, then everybody around you going to be happier than before, because you are doing what you love. And when you're doing what you love, they see that it's important, and they start doing what they love, and then we all become one, just like we always talk about. You know, we are one, but some think we are better, or people think you're better, and they find out that they're not better. We only together better.
Absolutely, we are only together better. You are 100% right, sir. Thank you for being here. And thanks for being you, Frank. Because I think when we shine our light authentically, when we let our light out, people can feel that. There is no disputing it, because we are being who the hell we are. And for me, that's the most beautiful thing I can ever watch.
That's it. Be the best you.
Absolutely.
And James is gone again because he wants that as well.
That's it. He's got to go and change it. Oh, Faraz has gone. What a shame. I wanted to talk to him. Never mind. Maybe we've got a bit of the storm going on around the world. But it's been great to hear you, Frank. We've gone on far too long today, but I'm glad to see James and Fran and Louise and Joe and Wizam and Shula and James and Carla and our Dr. Ziggy in the room. It's great to see everybody, as well as Alexia and Jew and Frank. Thank you for sharing this morning. And for those that I can see on social media, thank you for being here on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Twitch and X, or wherever it's called. You know, we are better together. And wherever you are in the world today, whatever you're doing, remember that it's time to shine your light like you've never done before. In Giving Back Monday, we are motivating you to share your love, your light, and yourself with each other, because our connectedness is our belonging, and our belonging is all that there is. The rest of it, it's just rubbish. So look after each other today. Have the most fantabulous day. Be who you are, and don't forget that I love you. And I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock if you're around for Inclusion. And if you're not, we'll see you on Saturday at 8 o'clock for Belonging in Business. You know, we're here 3 times a week, and we're here regularly, and we're here for you, and we're here. And if you want to reach out to me afterwards, even if you've not been able to come on the stage, very often people will talk to me after the room, and that's perfectly fine too. Reach out, reach back, reach in, and make sure that you know you are belonging. We love you, and we hope you have the best day ever. Be good. Take care. Bye-bye.